Well, this Snow Hill, bottom of Columbury. That's Snow Hill over there, look. This is the bus stop, and it's a bus stop as we've featured it on several occasions with no information. It's a covered bus stop, so you can show it's got a shelter with no information about it. Now just down there, that building that's shrouded is the Royal Court and States building and the Royal Square. So it's quite an important building. A lot of people would come in here on these buses. There's a 16 and a number 3 come in here. That's the 16 from the Mary. I don't know where the number 3 comes from. They stop here. That's quite a handy little place to stop because obviously it's central for town. Sometimes, heaven knows when, you can get a taxi here. Taxis queue up here somewhere, just down there. And there's a couple of telephone boxes here. Now that's that's an endangered species, a telephone box. So it's quite a useful little area. Now the point about this bus stop is people can arrive here, they can get off here, but if they want to go back on again, they have to go down to the bus station, which is quite a long walk. And of course, if you're a disabled person, it's not really possible to do that. And if you're an elderly person who bought some shopping in town, it's also not very easy. So here we are, a lot of people come in here, they get off the bus here, they ought to be able to get on the bus here and go back on, I think, to the bus station, especially if they got a free pass, which a lot of people have. If they got a free pass, they can select their bus at the bus station and go on where they want. Now this is what a integrated transport service ought to be all about. So you've got buses, you've got taxis, you can telephone, you can use them. If you're not much into internet and all these wonders of technology, but if you're not, and if you're a visitor, you need help, this is the sort of basic stuff you need. Also up there's a toilet, just up the steps there, or there's a ramp up there. These steps ought to have handrails on them, of course. Pretty grotty toilets, but they're toilets. Any port in a storm. Now there's something else rather interesting about this location. We're just going to go down and have a look. Yeah, go on. Yeah. So this is the last shot of Snow Hill. It is a buzzing little place. As I say, there should be handrails up on this steep bit. But access here from that bus stop, there's several buses that go to that bus stop. This should be a real little transport mini hub, and it's not. And they want a coordinated transport system. I keep saying this, it's not using what already exists. Everybody here should be able to go up to there, to Snow Hill, get back from here, they've done what they have to do around here, get back on the bus to the bus station, and from the bus station choose what bus they want. All buses finish up at the bus station. Well, there's yet another bus there, look, the 21, which has gone down here. I didn't even know there was a 21. There it is, that's just gone down past the Snow Hill bus stop. And there's another one now, look at that flying past. What's this one? That's the number 1, so that's coming from Gorey. So it's a very busy little bus stop here. Lots of people get off the buses, but virtually nobody gets back on because they're not going to pay to go one stop down to the bus station. But of course that one stop, it could be a journey to the moon for some people with disabilities while they got their shopping. Now here's another bus here. This is the number 13. Look, they're coming thick and fast. You can't say you don't get lots of buses. That's the number 13. I don't know if we've talked to 13 before, have we? That's the 13. That's not stopping at the Snow Hill bus stop as well. So, nobody got off that one? Doesn't look like it, does it? Well, here's yet another bus. It's number 1. From the East Coast, that's a Gory bus as far as I know. But stopping at this stop here, so at this stop here we've got a number 1, number 2, a number 3, number 16. All these buses stop here, people get off, look. Now if they want to get back on the bus, they have to go down to the bus station. Which isn't very handy, is it? If you've got a pushchair, or you're disabled, or you're elderly, or you've got a bad leg, you know, this is what transport is all about. It's not done for the convenience of the bus company, it's done for the convenience of the passengers. That's Hill Street down there, look. We've just come up here. That's the toilet, the grotty old toilet block. Now here's a little mini recycling centre here, look, which people have to put their rubbish in. Looks very unsightly. I would have thought it could be somewhat improved. Now this is the cliff face, where they keep looking at about access to the fort region, which is up there, where the old, they used to have the lift, used to go up here, the cars. So you've got motorbikes parked here, a few bicycles, motorbikes, and cars beyond. Pretty grotty though, isn't it? You know, it's not exactly a nice part of town, is it? Well, here we are on this junction again at Snow Hill. Now, there are a couple of taxis here at the moment, and I've had an interesting chat with the taxi drivers, and they assure me that there are always taxis here. So, there's no, it says up there, look, there's a taxi rank, but there's no telephone number to ring. You can't phone them on a local number, they say. You've got to have a mobile. There's phone boxes there. If you had a local number, I don't know if there's, there ought to be a sign on those boxes there saying you can phone for a taxi from here and it'll cost you nothing, because local calls are nothing. Mobile calls cost you money. So if we're going to have an integrated transport service, this is the sort of thing that needs to happen. I've just tried to ask the taxi drivers if they pay a rent for this space. I don't know if they do, but they run a business here. I don't see why they shouldn't pay a rent, and they ought, and it might induce them to use it a bit more. There are, you can ramp up there, look. That's a ramp for a wheelchair to go up there, into the toilets, which are just marked there, look. Toilet and taxis. So where are the signs? Where are the useful signs? I mean, these little piddly signs they've got with very small writing, out the way. Then here's a really bottom of Bath Street, really busy area, full of pedestrians. Here are Bath Street and Queen Street, King Street. On the corner up to Snow Hill. Public offices down there, government offices, which people want to use. Gino's wonderful cafe. All down there, public estates building, the royal courts, the courts, all sorts of information. People need to know where it all is and how to get there. Transport? Do they know what transport really is? Now this little road here, we're not here looking at the architecture today, but what a load of potential this has got, hasn't it? It's got a proper little old-fashioned town feel about it. Not looking its best today, the scaffolding, but it's also got one of those rare items. A bus stop. Now the buses come down here, they come down Columbury, down here, around this little steep bit of thing, so they don't go to the Snow Hill bus station across, they don't go across there. So people, this is the next nearest bus stop, and it's over there. And it's a very important bus stop for reasons we will discover. Well, here you are, this is the bus stop, and it's got one of these If you've got a mobile phone, which I do not have, you can phone it on this wonderful system and they'll tell you what bus stops here. I don't know why they haven't got any information here about what bus stops here. It's obviously a secret. We're not allowed to know. Strictly no smoking, strictly no parking, but strictly no information about buses either, so it seems, and it's a very important bus stop. Well, there you are, there's a feeder road coming up here. It comes into Lamott Street, but there's a sign to say you've got to go that way, but nowhere to say that central office, customer local services, is that way. Now you may say, so what? Well, if you are a disabled person, you want the shortest possible route possibly. You may not be able to see very well, may not be able to hear very well, you have a mobility impairment. You know, these things matter. Well, how are we doing? It says over there, look. Well, we're pretty damn awful, I would say. Now, this building used to be Social Security, but now it's known as Customer and Local Services. Everything's in here, but what have they got outside? They've got these damn yellow lines, so it's virtually impossible to park legally, as far as I know. There's a car here, we'll try not to look at it too closely. More yellow line. What you're supposed to do, I do not know. I don't know where the staff park, if they come in. They come in by helicopter, I don't know how they come in. Yellow line all the way down here. Now, whether you've got disability or whether you haven't, you've got to put your car somewhere. You've got to get transport here somewhere, somehow. This is the Customer and Local Services Department of the States of Jersey, which used to be Social Security Department. Now it's blossomed into many things. I don't know how many departments are in here, but it's obviously an important building. It's full of people at the moment, customers, and a lot of staff in there as well. There's a rather lonely looking bicycle park there. I don't know how many in the transport plan. Now, I've noticed if you go down the road here, a remarkable lack of signs pointing in this direction to tell people what this building is. Now, I don't know. It's all very well once you arrive here, if you've found somewhere to park on all these yellow lines. If you arrive here, there's a sign there that tells you what that is. But you've got to arrive here. And a remarkable lack of information, how to get here, how to know it's here. Obviously, I don't know how many languages it could be in, I've no idea. Well, just there, look, there's nothing like a department which I didn't even know existed. It's called Children's Services and CAMS. Now, I didn't know that existed, but again, another government department which people might want to get to in this area, all in this area. How are people supposed to get here? How are they supposed to find it? Where are the signs? I'm on the bus now. As you can see, it's got a load of facilities for disabled people, wheelchair facilities. So, and it's wet outside, becoming miserable and cold. That's why people want the transport system.